So glad to be back with you and appreciated seeing all of your hard work from last week as well. Shout out to Ms. Yama for making sure that we got our math learned on Thursday. And thanks so much to those of you who submitted your assignment. So yeah, y'all. All right, let's jump in. It's National Prime Rib Day. Prime rib being like steak, yum. If y'all have seen Parks and Rec, you know who Ron Swanson is, but this is, I guess, an inside joke for those of you who've watched Parks and Rec. Do we have any Parks and Rec fans here? If you haven't seen it, it's funny. I don't know what channel it's on though, or what app it's on now. Probably Netflix. I don't know for sure though. Anyway, Parks and Rec, it's funny. So today, if you're just joining us, or if you haven't done the attendance yet, this is your reminder to do attendance for me, please. And then we will jump on in. So today's going to be like slightly different than normal. We're going to do announcements, so that'll feel normal. And then we're going to start doing some test prep. So I'm going to do a little bit of why we have this test. And then we're going to do a little bit of practice today. But it won't be super like math driven. It'll be more about like how to use the platform that we're going to use for this test. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about why Canvas looks a little bit different than you would expect it to look like. Okay. So let's first talk about where we are in our quarter. We've done 2 weeks down. Let's even go ahead and cross out week 2. That is over. So these 2 weeks are done. We're now in week 3. So for the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, we're going to do some preparation, some prep for our test. And then in week 5, we'll spend the whole time taking the test. Okay, that is the where we're at. And then the last 3 weeks, we'll just do PT and ACT. So we're going to make it happen this morning. If you have anything during those last 2 weeks that you're like, shoot, I'm really struggling, we do have office hours. They are today and on Thursday from 10:30 to noon, 10:30 to noon. So when you don't have Spanish, you can come over to hang out with us. Ms. Yama is happy to support you. And then on Mondays, there will be some times when you're either called in by Ms. Yama or she might set up an appointment with you. Just if we're seeing something from Tuesday or Thursday where you are not finding success yet, we want to make sure that you find success. So we've got those going on. Then I wanted to also do some shout outs from last week's assignments. There were 2 here that I really wanted to shout out with the graphs. I really appreciated that Ashley, she actually drew out her graph. Right, so this is the graph she was drawing. I mean, look at that. What a beautiful drawing she did. Ashley drew out her graph, and I really thought that was like above and beyond. So shout out to Ashley R. And then Nayeli, I just really appreciated how Nayeli like cropped the photo so that it was just the important parts of the graph. That really helped her to do that math. So appreciated those 2 pieces from that assignment. You're welcome. And then Roxana M, I really appreciated this one. It's kind of hard to see here. But this one, for those of you who did it on the computer, I just said like type here that you did it on Desmos, and then I went and checked on Desmos. Roxana M went above and beyond, and she actually like took screenshots from Desmos and put those screenshots on her document. And so then I didn't even have to go to Desmos. She showed me all of her work right there on her page, just like she'd done it on paper, but she did it on the computer. So shout out to Roxana M, Ashley R, and Nayeli for their incredible work. Really appreciated you going above and beyond. So shout out all around. I also, just on that assignment, wanted to highlight my favorite no, the thing that I was like, this is my favorite wrong answer. I love wrong answers. They tell me so much about your brain. I really appreciated here, this person was thinking about the zeros. Remember the points on the line where they are, where it's touching the x-axis. And they got -1 right here, this point here, -1. And they got 2, this point here. And then they put x equals x, right? Which I realized, I think they're talking about this purple, where this purple arrow is pointing, that point right there. What does x equal? You can put your answer in the chat. What does x equal at that point right there at the origin? Not quite 1, although that's a good guess, right? Yeah, Amira, it equals 0. Absolutely, this answer is 0 right here. So instead of saying x equals x, we could have put x equals 0, right? X equals 0, because right there at 0, 0, right? If you're thinking about the origin, you know that point is 0, 0 like this. And remember that it's x comma y. So that means that x must be 0 and also y must be 0 at that point because x and y are both 0. So then my second favorite wrong answer right here in the same one, right? Put 0, x, 0, x. What could we have put? What's the y-intercept where it touches the y-axis? Where it touches the y-axis, what would that point be? What would it be? 0, Amira with that 0 again. Absolutely. That would be 0, 0. This point right here, if it's at the center, if it's going through the center of the graph, we're at 0, 0. Right? So then for the y-intercept, the answer would have been 0, 0. Just like that. I love that both of these things, we're talking about this answer here, and they have the same x and x. Right? It's my favorite wrong answer. I loved this. Loved this answer. Appreciate you. Awesome. Y'all did a great job for the ones that I was seeing. Don't forget to submit if you haven't submitted yet. So with all of that from last week, we are going to be done with our announcements. Are there any questions about our announcements before we move into our lesson today? Any questions about where we're going? Wow, lots of misspelling, but you understand what I mean. Feel free to put no in the chat if you're there and you don't have any questions. That'll just help me to know that you're still listening. Thanks, Jasmine. Thanks, Roxana. Thanks, Gary. Awesome. Okay, so I know, thanks, Josh. I know that you might be like, Miss, a test? What are you talking about? It's been so long since we've done a test. I know. So first, I'm gonna spend about maybe 10 minutes talking about why we got to take this test, right? And give you some information about what it is. And then we're gonna do some practice today, right? And I'm gonna promise you that because we are gonna spend some time talking about why, that however far we get today, that will be where I stop the assignment. So I will explain that in a little bit, but basically what I'm saying is you're not gonna have a lot of homework today because we're gonna get started. All right, let's talk about the CAASPP. Does anyone remember this little icon here? Anybody remember this little icon? Yeah. Does anybody remember the sound? Like an air server in your nightmares, your worst nightmares. No. You remember the suffering. Okay, what grade do we remember that from? 5th grade, yes, that's true. 6th grade, yeah. Elementary school, yeah. Does anyone remember it from 8th grade? Oh yeah, Brandon remembers from 8th grade. Elementary vibes, 2nd grade. Took it recent. Oh yeah, Emiliano, you did LPAC recently, same thing, 8th grade. 9th and 10th, Amira, yeah, some people, if you came from another school, you might have done it in 9th and 10th. Okay, so at hybrid, we do not do it in 9th and 10th grade, but we do English and math in 11th grade. In fact, not just hybrid, all juniors in the state of California do the CAASPP test, right? All of them, everybody has to take it, right? The only people who don't have to take it are people who go to private school, or people who opt out. Those are it. It used to be called CSP. Yeah, there have been a lot of names. There was like the name SBAC. There's the name CST, or like I heard maybe something else like CBAC. No, there's been some other names for it, right? but it is the same test. The idea is that we want to know where you're at and how you're doing. And so we want to make sure that everyone has access to it. So when it's going to be in week 5, which starts May 10th, right? We're going to do it instead of your classes for the day. So normally you'd have your 3 classes. Instead, we're going to have you like taking this long test. I mean, I know you probably remember it being long and hard. It's okay. We're going to be more prepared for it this time. And then it'll be on Zoom. Duh, that's what I said here. Of course. And we'll give you the links later. So this is it. You're going to take it in English and in math. As 12th graders, all 12th graders take the science one, right? So there's a science one in 12th grade. So you have that to look forward to. And then, yeah, that's it. There's no history one, right? But this will be the last time you have to take it, which is great. All right, so let's talk about what it looks like because it's a little bit different. So there are 2 parts for each test. So for the math part, there's 2 parts, and for English, there's 2 parts, right? There is a computer adaptive test, right? Computer adaptive means that the questions are going to go up and down based on your responses, right? Based on your responses. So if you get a bunch of questions right and it starts getting harder, that's great, right? So if it's hard, that's actually good. That means that like you're getting some questions right. If it starts to get super easy, that's okay too. It just means the test is trying to figure out what level you are at, right? So that's what it's trying. So you're scored on both your number of correct answers and also the difficulty. So if you get a really hard question right, then you get more points. If you get a really easy question right, you still get points for getting it right. So pretty cool. And so you won't have the same questions as other people necessarily. Everyone gets like an individual test. So pretty cool. It's about an hour for each subject, 1 hour for math and 1 hour for English, although technically you have as much time as you want. So we used to call this like the ACT redemption test. That's kind of how I like to think about it. So if you've ever been in the ACT and then all of a sudden you just run out of time, you all know what I'm talking about? Has anybody just been on the ACT and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, the time is up? You know what I mean? Yeah, right? So if you're someone who like the ACT, it takes like you want more time, this test you actually get as long as you need, right? As long as you need. And the test actually, like if you are just clicking random answers, the test will just get longer because the computer has to figure out where you're at. And so if you just click random things, right, the test won't end faster. It'll actually just keep going and going and going until you start trying. So just like that's a good thing to know. There's no way out. You have to do it. I know it's the worst, but it is a redemption test in that you get to take as long as you need to. And so if you're someone who thinks about things really deeply, you could take that time, right? So yeah, take that time. Yeah, a little FYI moment. Don't just click randomly. You know how on the ACT eventually the time runs out? Yeah, that's not going to happen on this test, right? You'll just sit there and like keep pressing buttons until the test says that you're done. So some people take like a short amount of time, some people take a longer amount of time, and it's dependent on like how you're doing. Okay. Then there is the second part, which is called the performance task. And the performance task, it's centered around a common theme, and it's in math, it's one long problem. Like it's a math problem that has like 7 parts, right? And you do the best that you can on each part. In English, that might look like short answer questions or essay questions. Y'all are actually going to take a shortened version of both of these. Normally, the computer adaptive test is like 2 hours, and normally the performance task is like 3 hours, but they have cut it back since we will be doing it online and you'll be doing it at your home. Okay, so just wanted to, so we are actually, you're getting a shortened version, which is great, but that means we got to do super awesome. All right. So you might be wondering, like, what kind of grade do I get from this test, right? So there are 4 or 5, there are 4 different grades that you can like get. Yeah, Amira, 3 hours. It's actually going to be like, it's going to be about 3 hours for English and about 3 hours for math, but it'll be over the course of the whole week, right? So you'll have time, you'll have like a long day Monday and a long day Tuesday, and then you'll have time on Wednesday and Thursday as well if you need it. Some people will actually take longer. I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I need you all to grow up and learn and go to education school so that you can think about like how we can make some changes here, because I'll be on your team. All right. So you might be wondering, like, what do my scores mean? What do they mean? So there are 4 scores you can get: standard exceeded, standard met, standard nearly met, or standard not met, right? So basically like exceeded, proficient, nearly proficient, and not proficient, okay? If you've heard that word proficient before. The idea here for standard exceeded or standard met, those are the 2 that we're trying to get, right? So one of these 2 green ones. Standard nearly met means you're like not quite ready for college level coursework yet. And then standard not met means you're not ready and we need to give you a little bit more support, okay? Do I know what day we take the test? Yes, Manny, the test starts May 10th and it's gonna go through May, it's the 10th through the 14th. So all 5 of those days. So you might ask like, okay, well, how have the other classes done? So I'll show you here. This is the class of 2019. So class of 2019, 19? Yeah, I think 19. Anyways, 2 years ago. So blue is exceeded and red is met. So this means like 70-ish% of them got one of the passing scores. This is like 25% got almost there, and then green was standard not met. That's like the small sliver of people who like didn't quite make it, right? And then over here you have the math one, same thing, proficient or exceeded, right? This is like advanced is this blue bucket. Lots of people got proficient, lots of people got nearly proficient, and then a few people got not met. So our goal, right? Our goal for you all, I know you're class of 2022, sorry, I typed that wrong. Our goal for you all is 85% of you passing in English and 55% passing in math. To put this in perspective, for like the average LAUSD score, I think was around like 15 or 20% for passing in math. And so 55, that's actually like a really great score for us. That's our goal. We hit 49 last time we took the test. So that's just where we're at. Pretty interesting. Okay, and then the last piece, and I'm sure you're probably asking like, Miss, why does this matter? Why do I have to do this? So there are 3 big ways. I'll talk about the first 2, or the second 2 first. So 1, there's learning reflections. We want to know, like, you took this test in 2nd grade, maybe 5th grade, maybe 8th grade, but it's been a while. We want to know how much you've learned, right? So that's one thing. We want to update you on any support that you might need before you go to college, right? So we're going to get these scores back at the beginning of next year and then be able to use them to see if there's anything we need to help you with before you go to college, right? So that's some like in learning reflection. There's school progress. Hybrid is actually given a grade. Like when, I don't know if you guys remember this, when Mr. Mack or Miss Zero would talk about like, we want to be the best school in LA, right? The #1 school in LA, right? This is how we do that, right? So like this is how we go about that. And we are building a legacy of like how we're doing. So those 2 are sort of like why it matters for everybody as we're thinking about the future. And then the one that like really matters, I think, this test is used by the Cal State as a placement test, right? It's used as a placement test. So what that means is that when you go to college, when you get into a school, they're going to say, okay, you need to take this class, this class, this class, right? If you get one of those proficient or advanced scores, there are actually classes that you can skip, right? They're going to say like, if you get proficient or advanced, it really means like you are ready to jump, like Cal States are saying, you are ready to jump into our college courses. If you aren't hitting those proficient or advanced, that's okay. That just means that you need a little bit more support in college and you may need to take either a remedial class or a lower level English or math class before you can move on to the higher levels of college classes. Right. So it can be super important, especially because every class in college costs money, right? So like classes in high school, if you fail a class in high school, you just take it again, right? Or you go to summer school and you repeat those courses. If you fail a class in college, you have to pay to fail it and then you have to pay to take it again, right? So it's actually super important to do the very best that you can so that you can like get you can like skip those classes. That means that you can take the next level and you don't have to pay to take the lower level class, right? Especially because remedial courses, just to be honest with you, remedial courses most of the time don't count towards your college credit. And so you're actually paying for a class, but you're not going to get credit. But you actually can't get into the credit bearing courses. You can't get into the classes that will count until you pass these other classes. So you're kind of like paying for, you're paying to improve kind of thing. Okay. That's kind of complicated and I've shared a lot of information. Do y'all have questions about the test or like why we're taking it or why it might be important for you to take this test? Any questions? Feel free to come off mute if you like. Thank you for remembering to put no. Appreciate the direct messages that say no, you don't have any questions. Thanks to admin, thanks Sebastian. Thanks Pepper. Thanks Wendy. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna drop the attendance in there in case you're just joining. All right, friends. So today we are going to jump in. We've done some of the why. We're going to jump into the practice, right? So we're just going to practice at this point, like logging in, right? We're going to practice logging in. So if you can go ahead and navigate over to Canvas, you're going to find that week 3 looks like this. It has numbers 1 all the way to number 8. Right. Today we're going to start by logging into a training test. So obviously we have to take a math test online. You guys actually have a big advantage because you've been doing math online this whole time. But we still need to figure out how to use the testing platform. So that's where we're going to practice for the rest of this week. So let's go ahead and pop over to Canvas. Make this bigger for us. And I'll put this in the, go ahead and pop over to Canvas. Jump to that link. If you don't have it, that'll take you directly to my class. And you should see week 1. You can go ahead and close week 1. You should see week 2. You can close week 2. We're not going to worry about those for right now. And then I want you to go ahead and find week 3 and make sure that it's open. Yes, got a private message that you saw that I was updating all of this yesterday. You thought you were going to have a long day tomorrow. Yeah. Yes, here's what's going to happen. I put all of these things here, right? But at the end of the day today, I'm going to drag Thursday up probably like right around here. So we're really just going to do like 1 through 3 and then 4 through 8 will be on Thursday. I just didn't know how far we were going to get. I didn't know how many questions we were going to have. So I didn't want to like stop us from doing problems if we had a lot of them, but it's going to be okay. All right. Can you put an R in the chat if you have found week 3 on your own computer? Put an R in the chat if you're ready. Thanks for all the R's. Cool. R. I like the full word R. Excellent. Okay, looking good. I think I got about 20 R's in the chat. Perfect. Okay, team, if you are in R, go ahead and click into assignment 38. It says directions and link for logging on. All right, so you have our Zoom link per usual. This assignment, it says today's assignment is in parts over the next 8 Canvas pages. Submit 1 screenshot on each page. Note, Ms. Mack may shorten the assignment after class on Tuesday. Stay tuned. I am going to shorten it. So I'll let you know at the end of class today. And it says optional. You can keep track of your screenshots using this document. If you would like to, if you're someone who's like, ooh, I like to like have a document that helps me. I made an optional document for you. If you would like to keep all of your screenshots in one place so that you don't lose them, it just has your options here. There are 8 questions. And there are 8 pages on Canvas. Okay, so you're submitting 1 screenshot per page. 1 screenshot per page. So it says login directions right here. we're going to go to this website right here. Go ahead and click on this website. So back on Canvas, it says login directions. Click on the website that says bit.ly/SBAC train test. Click that one right there. And it should pop up and say something like this. Something like this. I can copy this link for you. I'll put it in the chat here. Everybody should be headed here. And once you get there, you're going to go ahead and press the green button. I have to open it in incognito because I have like weird teacher access. You're going to click this green button right here. That green button is going to take you to this right here. If you see please sign in, if you could put an R in the chat so I know that you're ready. Thanks, Pepper. Thanks, Sadie. Thanks, Roxana. Thanks, Mel. Do we have to use Chromebook now? If you're on your phone, this will be probably more complicated than necessary. So I would recommend using the computer. You don't need to use a Chromebook. No, you can use a regular computer for right now. The application does work on Mac. I'm using a Mac right now to show you. The test itself, you will need to have your computer. So Ms. Matsuchi next week is going to be having a day where you can come pick up your computers. If you're someone who never picked up your Chromebook, or if your Chromebook doesn't work, or you're missing a charger or something, it'd be super important to pick up your computer on that day. So stay tuned to Miss. It was yesterday. Miss Matsuchi messaged you yesterday. Oh, the pickup day was yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, if you don't have your Chromebook, let me know and we'll set up another time. Also, are y'all coming on Friday? Total side note. Are we coming on Friday? You're gonna come say hi to me? I can't wait to meet you. Yay. Yes, it's gonna be so awesome. I heard there are like goodies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're having a pep rally. Junior pep rally is on Friday. You can come say hey. Who wouldn't come? I know, that'd be crazy. Why would you not want to? You want the Among Us pinata? Yeah, okay. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, so now that we're here, we're gonna leave it as guest, and then we're gonna go ahead and press sign in. Sign in. And then we are in 11th grade. So we're gonna scroll down to 11th grade. You can take the second grade one if you want, but it's gonna be the wrong information. So go to 11th grade, and then you're gonna see some pink ones pop up, 4 pink ones, and then you're gonna see 2 yellow ones. I want you to go to this yellow one right here. So it says start high school math training test. This yellow one right here. Ooh, I'm not telling what the goodies are. Yeah, you'll have to come on Friday to find out. All right, and then you're gonna see a bunch of settings. We don't have to worry about the settings. The settings are fine. Go ahead and press select. And then look, the dreaded noise. This noise is about to play. Should I turn on my sound just so you can hear the noise? I'm gonna do it. Here we go, sharing sound. Should I play again? I know, the nostalgia, the throwback. So you're gonna go ahead and play your video. You have to play the video, and you have to press. I could play this out in video. You're logging in as a guest, yeah. So if you got a little lost there, no problem. I'll go back to the beginning. If you're good, just keep clicking through until you get to the test. So if you're here, it says guest, you're gonna leave it like this, press sign in. You're gonna go to 11th grade. And then out of these 6 right here, you're gonna click this one right here, the high school math training test. If you forget these instructions on Canvas, I put all the instructions right here. Everything you need to click is right here. Right, that's how we log in, all the way in. Okay. If you need the directions, go to this page. The directions are at that link. You can go as you go. So I'm going to click Math Training Test. I have the settings. I'm just going to press select. You don't need to change any settings, but you can play with them if you want. Play the video. Here it goes. I know you're loving that sound. You press I could play. It gives you this little green check mark. Then you press continue. Then you can press begin test now. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of back and forth clicking. I know it's annoying. I try to figure out how I could limit as much clicking as possible, but we are going to do some back and forth clicking. So you have this guy open. This is your training test. And then you should have Canvas open as well. Okay, so once you've logged in, you're going to go ahead and press next. And it will take you to number 1. And then you're going to read on number 1. It says question 1 says, and it shows you a picture. If you click over to the other tab to see the thing, you'll see that exact same picture, right? You can begin. You should go ahead and begin the test. You can click along with me. You should see this for number 1. Everybody's got the same test right now. So we have this here. So I'm going to look at Canvas. It says, number 1, click on the hamburger button next to the number 1. You should see this drop down, right? So I'm going to go to the test. I'm going to click the hamburger button right here, the 3 lines. And I see this here. Right? All right, cool. So I got the drop down here. It says, click strike through. Cross out the answers you think are incorrect. So Canvas is teaching you, right? So on Canvas, we are learning how to use all the different pieces of this text. So here I'm learning that there is a strike through button. And when I click strike through, when I click one of these, it actually crosses it out. It actually crosses it out. You see how it's crossing out my answers? Okay. So I'm going to click on them. If this is like on paper, right? On paper, I would like, okay, this one's gone. This one's gone. This one, I don't like those answers. I'm crossing them out, right? And then if I can cross all of them out, I double click them to uncross it. And then if I want to choose this as my answer, I'm going to click out of here. I'm going to click away from there. And then I'm going to go ahead and say, this one is my answer. Yes, Nebu, that is a good question. That's perfect answer, right? Our answer is here. So you want to cross out the wrong one. On Canvas, it says, hint, your screenshot should look like this. This is what your screenshot should look like. So you're going to go to, oops, sorry, click back to my test right here. So now that you have this, you're going to go ahead and make a screenshot. Going to make a screenshot. And on Canvas, you have two options. You can either put your screenshot right here on the document. If you want to save it for later, you put it on the document. But what you really have to do in order to get points for this question is you're going to go up to start assignment. You're going to upload your file. So you're going to go to upload file, choose file. You know how to do this, and put your screenshot in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my screenshot in. Find your screenshot however you find it. Mine is taking like 9 years. Hold on. Come on, screenshot. Do your thing. Go. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and upload my screenshot here and submit my assignment. So you should be uploading a screenshot that looks like this. Right. So I put mine in. You can look at the rubric. In order to get 2 points, you have to show that you could cross things out. And in order to get an answer, you're going to get extra credit if you get the correct answer. But if you answer something, if you click one of the buttons to make it your answer, you're going to get the full point. If you got disconnected, Moses, you got disconnected from the test or from Zoom? From the Zoom. Okay, you're fine. So you're going to follow these directions here. Follow these directions here. So for each one, when you press next, for each one, it's going to tell you exactly what to do. So it's going to say question 2 says this. So when I go to question 2, it'll show me this. This is on the test. And on Canvas, it says, try typing 2x is greater than 11. So I'm going to go to my test and I'm going to try typing 2, maybe x. Oh, it doesn't let me type x, so I'm going to try b. Right? It has my variable here. Is greater than 11. So I'm going to do is greater than 11, like that. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, I can do that. So it'll give you directions. You're following the directions as you go. The thing you have to do is in yellow. After practicing, type in your answer. Screenshot the correct answer and submit here. Right? Submit here. So for number 2, you're going to submit on the number 2 page. Each question has its own assignment on Canvas. Do you submit the first screenshot? Yes. On number 1, you're going to submit the first screenshot. For today, I am going to have you do 3 questions. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I'm going to leave student view so you can see me actually do this. So I'm going to go home and show you. Your homework for today, I need you to do number 1, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So notice I'm going to take Thursday and I'm going to drag it up here. So these ones, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of those I'm going to change to be due on Thursday. This is a great clarifying question. Wait, to make this clear, we don't submit the doc, we submit the screenshot on Canvas. That's correct. You do not need to submit the doc. The document is only for you if you want it. The doc is only for you if you want it. So you can make a copy of this if you want to. You don't need it. You are going to get points from submitting on Canvas. Thank you for making that clear, Noemi. That was a great clarifying question. How many questions do I have to do for today's assignment in order to get full points for today? How many questions do I have to get? Yes, 3. 3. 3, yes. Someone asked the question, can I submit the doc instead of the picture? Yes. So I know some of you have a hard time with your screenshots and it's like very challenging to submit a screenshot. So if you need to put your screenshots on the document and then submit the document, you can do that. So you can submit the document if you need to. Another question, is it okay if we get it wrong? Yes, as long as you answer the question, you'll get full points. You just get extra credit if you get it correct. So if you get the correct question, you'll get extra credit. If you get it wrong, you'll still get full points. So you're working on three of them for 3 of them for homework tonight. We've already done number 1. You're going to finish number 2 and number 3. And then we'll move on. Are there any last questions for me? You guys had amazing questions today. Thank you for those questions. Appreciate your participation in the chat. Okay, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and open up some breakout rooms. If you'd like to stay and work with some teammates, you're welcome to jump into your breakout rooms at this time. Otherwise, you are free to head out. Ms. Flores will be available to support you in her breakout room. If you want to jump into a breakout room to get some support or ask a question, you're welcome to. You should go ahead and jump there now. If you just need a space to be like, Miss, I'm gonna get this done, that's your breakout room space. Pop in there, make it happen. Bye, Zephyr. Bye, Roxana.